Empowered Educator Podcast, your place for personalized professional learning to go. Join me as I discuss educational topics that empower educators to take control and ownership of their own professional learning. I'm your host, Mel Vandevort. Good Friday morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well out there today. I'm going to start today's podcast with a podcast shout out. I would like to give a podcast shout out to one of my new friends, Athea Davis. Her podcast, Mindful Living with Athea Davis, is one that gives me inspiration and some sparkle in my day. She has such a great voice. I can only imagine how well she runs her classroom with her positive attitude and tender talk. Athea gives tips on living a mindful life, whether it be in school or out of school. These tips include how to control anxiety. She talks about yoga for kids and adults. There are some great interviews with some great educators. I encourage you to take a listen to Mindful Living with Athea Davis. I listen on Spotify, but I know she is on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher as well, and I think a few others, so give her a listen. Now, on to today's show. I use several different apps and programs in my professional capacity. One of my favorites that I use every day is a to-do list app called Todoist. I'm one of those people that have always kept a notebook by my bed, in my car, by my chair, in my church bag, and even one in the bathroom, because you never know when you might need to write something down. It's much easier to combine all of these notes in one place. I carry my list with me on my phone so I don't forget it, like the 1,000 other lists I've left on the kitchen counter. There is a paid version, but I use the free version and it works well for my needs. I just wanted to give you this little tip. I am not getting paid for this. It's just one of my favorites that I use, and I find that it fits my needs very well. So again, that's called Todoist, and I'm an Android user, but I'm pretty sure that you can find it on Apple as well. There are a lot of apps that can be used in professional learning. App smashing is quickly becoming a way to infuse technology into the classroom. I think most everyone already knows what app smashing is, but for those of you who may not, app smashing is integrating 2 or more apps to complete a task or create a project. The first time I heard the term app smashing was while listening to a session of Ditch Summit with Jornea Armant talking about Flipgrid. Of course, I was already doing it, app smashing. I just didn't call it that. By the way, if you want some great personalized professional learning, I highly recommend Matt Miller's Ditch Summit and Michael Matera's Hive Summit. You can choose to listen to the topics that interest you and when it's convenient for you. They both offer show notes that are available for reference, so you don't have to write down everything. And I have all my show notes in folders in my Google Drive, so I can refer back to them later. There are several benefits of app smashing. Number 1, most are free, or at least decently cheap. If you find one you like, but don't want to pay for it, keep looking. There are many apps that have similar functions. Number 2, they are usually easy to master. I'm pretty good at figuring out how to use an app or a program. My rule of thumb: if I have to work really hard or watch more than 2 YouTube videos to figure it out, I'm moving on to another one. That may just be my ADD showing, but if I can't figure it out, other teachers with less mastered technology skills will struggle. Apps are supposed to be helpful, not anxiety-inducing. Number 3, not every app can do everything you want it to. So you need to combine them in order to get maximum benefit from them. We don't just use one pot or pan while cooking dinner, throw everything in and end up with a gourmet meal. No, we use more than one tool working together to get a finished product. The same goes for apps. And number 4, students can create some amazing things with the right tools and a little ingenuitive freedom. So how do we go about integrating technology into the classroom with app smashing? Well, number 1, try them out first to see if they meet the need of your learning objective. Remember, you are not just using technology for the sake of using technology, and technology is not the goal. You want to enhance the learning that would have already been taking place. So set up your lesson, then decide what technology will help get your kids to that goal. Don't choose the app first and then try to make your lesson fit. Number 2, give your students a few to choose from and let them get creative. Not every app is suitable for every person. If you let the students choose, you will get some really good end product, and you won't have the same thing from every student, which gets kind of boring when you have to grade it. So imagine grading all of these different creations over the same exact objective, but presented in several different ways. And don't try to reinvent the wheel. Get on Pinterest, get on Wakelet. There are some really great ideas of how to app smash and some really good explanations of what each application does. So get on there and check it out before you start and get some inspiration. And app smashing is not just for the classroom. You can use app smashing in professional learning. So Wakelet makes it super easy. They integrate with Google Classroom, with Flipgrid, and with Edpuzzle. And those are some amazing tools that you can use to create some great professional learning, personalized professional learning. Google Classroom, of course, I mentioned integrates with Wakelet, but Google Classroom itself, some of the ones that I use, it integrates with Insert Learning, Actively Learn, Buncee, Edpuzzle, Flipgrid, YouTube, Pear Deck. Oh, there's so many that I can't even name them all. But those are some that I use. Some of those I used with my classroom, and some of them I use in a professional learning capacity also. Casey Bell has a more complete list of others that you can add with Google Classroom, that you can integrate with Google Classroom. It's on her website, and I've added that link to the show notes as well. And I have a couple of other links to app smashing resources in the show notes. As always, I hope you've had an amazing week and hope you're having a great Friday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Don't forget to get your copy of Risk Taker by Brian Aspinall so you can join the all booked up book study starting on Monday. Thank you for joining me today on Empowered Educator. All of the information and links from today's podcast will be on my website, empowerededucator.com. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. Remember, professional learning should be sustainable, applicable, active, and targeted. So power up for personalized professional learning to go.